Alright, welcome back everyone. I'm teacher Nathan from Writers at Work, and this afternoon we'll be looking at MGS P6 Prelim paper from 2023. Now let's take a look at the grammar questions first. Question 1. Hafiz is considering dash in a landscape. Give me a moment. In a landscape photography contest to express his creativity and love for nature. So we are interested in the tenses here. Now, some keywords we need to take note is, number 1 is, number 2 considering. Is tells me it's in present tense. Considering tells me that it is an ongoing action as we speak. With this in mind, let's take a look at some of the keywords that are given. First, participate is in present tense and is in the plural form, while participate with the S is in the singular form and also present tense. Then we have participation. This is a noun, so we do not even consider this because the word here needs to be a verb. Okay, so it's an action word, not a noun. Participating is in the continuous form. So while we observe that the is here tells me it is in present tense, when you are considering something, it tells me that it is an ongoing action as we speak. Therefore, we will use the continuous form participating. So option number 4, alright? Moving on, let's take a look at question 2. Mrs. Lim let Yan Ling dash his mind for as long as he needed, patiently listening without interrupting. Over here, we are looking at tenses once again. And we observe that Mrs. Lim let. So this is in present tense. And let's take a look at some some of the options given. First one is speak, which is in the present tense and plural, while spoke is in the past tense. Speaks tells me it is in the present tense and singular, while spoken is in the participle tense or participle form. Now, if we observe, we need to apply the verbs of perception rule here. This happens when I have 2 verbs. The first one is you let someone do something. Yeah, that means you let someone is a verb because you do not forbid a person. And the second one needs to be in the base form. As such, we are looking at option number 1, speak his mind for as long as he needed without interrupting him. Alright? Alright, let's continue. If only you had come to the concert with me, you dash the show, my sister said delightfully. Once again, the question is testing you on your tenses. and the keyword is had come, which is in the past perfect form. Now let's take a look at the options given. Will enjoy is in the simple future tense, which means that my action takes place in the future. Next, would, if you see those options with would, these three options tell me that at the time of speaking, it was in the future, but it is in the past now. Okay, so the important point is here. So if sister and you went to the concert, let's say yesterday, the enjoyment will only come after you participated in the concert. However, we are now looking at the present tense, or at this present moment, where going to the concert and enjoying the concert would already occur. As such, we would use would here to show this change in time. And because the enjoyment will also be in the past, we need to take a look at these few words here: enjoy, be enjoying, and have enjoyed. So we need to ask ourselves, which one will we choose? And the answer is quite straightforward. We will use have enjoyed because this means that my action is completed, but the effect is still felt. Yep, correct. Hot Chai Niao. Our answer will be number 4. All right. Enjoying here is continuous. So like our first question, we are talking about an action that is ongoing as we speak, while enjoy is just present tense. And both of these, option 2 and option 3, cannot make sense because enjoying the show and going to the concert would already be events of the past. Now, moving on, let's take a look at question 4. The residents of the residents objected strongly dash the construction of a skate park in their serene neighborhood. So we are interested in prepositions here. And I observe we are looking at a skate park. And this doesn't really gel well with a serene neighborhood. This means that the neighborhood is very peaceful. So if a skate park is you'll make the neighborhood very noisy. Now, looking at our options, the first one is to. To tells me a direction or a destination of something. Or you also can be an opinion towards something. Next one is on, which tells me which shows a surface of object. The tablet is on the table. For tells me that you are in support or favor of something. While over shows up height. Now, looking at the question again, you can tell that the residents have a certain point of view that they object strongly. So they are not supportive of the skate park. So in a sense, they are showing their opinion towards the skate park, which is negative. And therefore, our answer will be number 1, 2. Yeah, very good, Hwa Chong. Hi, Cat Lover 23 and not Sherlyn. Now, let's go on to question 5. Mr. Mohan is dash the belief that artificial intelligence changes the way we work. So he encourages his children to keep up with the technological advances. Again, we are interested in prepositions here. We are looking at, firstly, someone's belief. So what someone thinks about things. And we are looking at Mr. Mohan, just one person, and how he thinks. Okay. Now let's take a look at the options given. In tells me a position. I am in the house. It also can be a position or the opinion of somebody. Okay. Next one, all shows a relationship of things between items. We have with, which shows something is complementary. And under, which shows height. Now, looking at this, Mr. Mohan is related to his belief. So the belief, that a kind of opinion belongs to him. So this shows a kind of relationship between the opinion and the person. As such, we'll use option number 2 here, of the belief. Okay. Okay, I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information I've shared before we move on to our next 5 questions. All right, moving on, let's take a look at question 6. Dad is going to China for a business trip. He's never been to that country before. Dash. Chen Yu asked his mother inquisitively. So we are interested in a question tag here. Now the first thing we observe is this. He's never. So it can be he is or he has. Now, if we are going to use he is, the subsequent word needs to be either an adjective. Yes, it needs to be adjective. Or it can be a verb. For example, he is lazy, he is smart, that's an adjective. Or it's a verb. He is doing his homework. Right? But if you observe, the next word is never been. So it doesn't fulfill either an adjective or a verb. So it will not be he is. So we only have another option, he has. He has never been to that country before. And if it's this case, we're looking at a negative connotation. As such, the blank needs to be of a positive connotation, which will be has he. So it will be number 2. All right. Now let's take a look at question 7. Hello, Muhammad Hilmi. Dash the obstacles they faced. The team remained determined to achieve their goal to become the national champions. I need to lift my English. Okay, we are interested in conjunctions here. Basically, these are linking words. Now, let's take a look at some keywords. Obstacles, so it's like difficulties or challenges. But you can see that people don't give up. They are very determined to do something. Okay, very good, Muhammad Hilmi. The answer is number 2, because number 2 shows a contrast in ideas. Now, let me just go through the rest quickly. Owing to shows me a cause-effect relationship. Owing to the train breakdown, I was late for school. Except for shows an outlier, that means somebody who is different from the rest. Except for Daniel, the rest of the class is enjoying the class party. Resulting from also shows a cause-effect relationship. Okay. Now, let's go on to question 8. The weary hiker dashed through the dense jungle for hours before he collapsed in exhaustion. Now, the keyword is for hours, which means that the action began in the past and is still continuing now. Looking at our options, tracks. This is present tense and singular. Then when the second action occurred. Okay? Okay. Give me a moment. For question 8. Oh yes. Okay, sorry. Wrong should be 4. It's past and he already. Okay, thank you for pointing out. What's this? CXW move. Yeah, you're right. Because of the word collapse here, which is already in the past. So even though it's for hours, the collapse here would tell me that the action which was trekking in the jungle was ongoing when the person collapsing, which is the second action, took place. As such, our answer here would be number 4. Okay, so thank you so much for pointing out. I missed out on the keyword. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at question 9 now. Grandfather was very disappointed that none of his sons showed dash interest in taking over his traditional bakery. So over here, we're interested in determiners, which are basically words to show the quantity of something. Now, let's take a look at the keyword, which is interest. So interest here cannot be counted. Uncountable, UC. Now, looking at the options, we have few, which is countable. I have a few cars. There are a few dogs in my house. Countable. Little is uncountable. He put in little effort in his homework. Most is comparative. And therefore, you need the word the in front of most. For example, Ali has the most cards, the trading cards among his 3 brothers. Then it makes sense. The is needed. And if you want to use this word most, is known as the superlative form, which means that I need more than 3 or more people to use this. Okay. Lastly, we have much, which is the uncountable determiner. He put in much effort in his homework and was praised by the teacher. Right? So, because we are interested in, we observe that grandfather was very disappointed, and this will tell me that the quantity of the interest in taking over the bakery must be very low. That's why his grandfather is sad. So the closest option that we'll have is number 2. He showed a little interest. Sorry, give me a moment. He showed none of his son, none. Okay, the idea is none here. So it would be none of his sons showed much interest because of the word none. Okay, if we have if grandfather was very disappointed that his son showed, that it will be little interest. Okay, but the idea is the interest, the quantity of the interest is very low. Okay. Now let's go on to question 10. A collection of vintage cars that showcased at the car show last week, attracting many curious onlookers. So we're interested in subject-verb agreement here. First thing to note, a collection, which tells me this is singular. Next, we observe that it is last week, so it is in the past tense. As such, we will say a collection was showcased at the car showroom last week. Okay. So I just give everyone some time to take in the information I've shared before we move on to our vocabulary section. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at the vocab section now. Okay, the first question reads, ever since the Chan family adopted a new puppy, the children had dashed it like best friends, playing with it every day. So the keyword we're interested in is best friends. So we are looking at how the children accepted the puppy as part of the family and want to play with it and take good care of it. Okay, who is this? 面包 says taken to. Okay, very good. That's the answer. Because taken to shows that you start to like something or someone. Okay, so for everyone's learning, let me just go through the rest of the options briefly. The first one, take in or taken in. It means that you understand completely the meaning of something. Okay. Now, take up or taken up means that you start doing a particular job or activity. All right. Now, if you take after somebody, it means that you have similar appearance. Or characteristics of older family member. Moving on, let's take a look at question 12. Despite his initial hesitation, Justin dashed to peer pressure and joined his friends in skipping school to watch a movie. So we are looking at how there is peer pressure, which means that a lot of people of your same age or maybe your classmates are doing something and they compel you to do the same as them. Okay, so let's take a look at another thing to take note is he joined his friends in doing something that was wrong. So looking at the options given, first one is adapted, which means you make something suitable for new purpose. Resisted means that you withstand an action or effect of something. Adjusted means that you make slight changes to be more effective. Lastly, succumb means that you fail to resist temptation. As we can see here, he said that it stated that he has hesitation. That means he's not sure. He was like thinking about the consequences, but he still was unable to resist the temptation, and he went to skip school. Okay, so very good. As what Hwa Chong has pointed out, the answer here will be number 4. You succumb to the temptation. Okay. All right. Moving on, let's take a look at question 13. With the deadline fast approaching, the team felt the stress of the dash presentation and worked tirelessly to ensure its success. So the keyword is here, deadline fast approaching. That means something is about to happen. The presentation is about to happen soon. Now, let's take a look at some options given to us. Impactful means there's a major effect on something, on somebody or something. Imminent means about to happen. Incidental means something happened by chance. While intermittent means something is happening at irregular intervals and is not continuous. So in this case, the answer here would be number 2, because your presentation will happen in a few days' time. It's a short time period. Yep, very good. Hwa Chong. Okay, let's take a look at question 14 now. Due to Roy's shabby clothes, the shopkeeper harbored dash against him and accused him of shoplifting. So you can see two things. Roy it was very untidy if you use shabby clothes. And the shopkeeper thinks that he's going to steal. That's why he accused. Accuse means that you have certain mindset and you think that the person did something, but it may not be backed up by evidence. Okay, so looking at the options, first one is partiality. Partiality means that you have unfair bias in favor of somebody. Prejudice means that you have a preconceived opinion. Okay, that means you have certain mindset or thinking that is not confirmed. Peculiarity means that means something is strange or unusual. while preference means that you have a greater liking for something. All right. So in this case, we're looking at how the shopkeeper had a very poor impression because of Roy's untidiness. And he drew that link between untidiness and a criminal. That's why he accused him of shoplifting. As such, our answer here will be number 2. Okay, yep, good job, Hwa Chong. Now, let's take a look at question 15. Naomi explained the complex concept dash in a few sentences, gaining nods of approval from her classmates. Now, there are two things we are interested in. Complex, that means something is very complicated, a lot of steps, very difficult to understand. And we observe that she could do it in a few sentences, which means that she could pack or summarize a lot of information into easily understandable sentences, and it becomes very few sentences. Okay, so let's take a look at some options given to us. The first one is bluntly, which means that you don't consider feelings of others. Next, we have concisely, which means something is very brief, very short, but comprehensive. Thirdly, we have thoroughly, which means something is done completely. Lastly, we have deliberately, that means intentionally, or on purpose. Okay. So, looking back at our sentence here, the complex concept can be summarized in a few words, which means something is very brief, very short. But you can see that they gain the nods of the classmates. That means they likely understand what is going on, and they could grasp the complexity of the concept very easily. So we will say the answer is number 2, concisely. That means something is very brief, very short, but it encapsulates the whole concept that is being taught. Okay. And just give everyone some time to take in the information before we move on to our next section. Okay. If you have any questions, do feel free to ask me in the comment section. All right, if there are no further questions, let's take a look at our vocabulary close. So what will happen is as such. I'll read through the text with you, and I'll explain the meanings of the underlined words. Once that is done, we'll take a look at the options and select the correct answer together. Jenny stepped into the bustling hawker center, the savory aromas instantly tickling her senses. She was amazed by the vibrant energy that filled the place. She walked past rows of food stalls, each enticing her with its mouth-watering dishes. So enticing here means you are trying to tempt or you're going to try to attract someone. Okay. Jenny decided to join a store with the longest queue, for she knew that it was, when it comes to hawker cuisine, the queue is the best testament to the quality of food at the store. Testament here means the proof or something. Savvy diners like her knew that if they wanted the signature dish that the stores offered, they had to endure the wait. Signature means something that is special, special thing the place is known for. Okay. Okay, moving on. While queuing, she noticed a group of seniors chatting and sipping hot drinks from their saucers. An ingenious way to cool their piping hot beverages. Ingenious here means a clever or an original way to do something. Finally, it was her turn. She ordered a plate of fried char kway teow and watched the store owner work his magic. He skillfully tossed the flat rice noodles and other ingredients into the sizzling wok. Skillfully here means that you do something very well. Okay. Now, let's go to the questions. All right. Question 16 asks you for the word, for another word for enticing, which means tempt or attract somebody. Now, let's take a look at the options. The first one is inspiring. Inspiring means you're encouraging someone, or you or someone make you feel like doing something. Next, tempting, which means that you have the urge to do something. Thirdly, delighting. Delighting means you give somebody pleasure or satisfaction. Lastly, influencing means you affect or change one's behavior. Now, looking at our question again, they're asking you to or to change the word entice, which means to tempt, or you try to ask, you feel you have that urge to do something, right? As such, our answer will be number 2. Now, moving on. Testament. Testament means the proof of something. So, looking at our options, the first one is evidence, which means you're trying to show something to indicate your belief. Next, exhibition means you want to display or demonstrate something. Realization means that you are fully aware of something as a fact. while recognition means that you agree something is true. So looking back at our question here, we are looking at the testament. That means the Q is a proof or something. That means from what I see, I will believe something. So the closest option that we have is number 1. So that means evidence or something. Okay. Now moving on to question 18. Signature dish, which means something that is special, or when we talk about a particular place, you think of the food item. Okay. So looking at our options, rare means not common or frequent. Exclusive means is restricted to a group of people. Distinctive means a characteristic that distinguishes, that means differentiate one from others. Okay. Extraordinary means very, very unusual or remarkable. So because we are looking at we are trying to show that this dish or this food item is you only can eat it at this particular store. So the closest option that we have is number 3. Something is very distinctive. All right. Now let's take a look at question 19. Oh, an ingenious way. Ingenious means something is very clever or original. It means something that no one thought about it before. So looking at our options, first one is clever. Clever means someone is quick to understand and apply the skills or the knowledge. Expert means that you are very skillful in a particular area. Reliable means you are able to be trusted. While efficient means that you can achieve productivity with minimal effort wasted. So from this question, you observe that if you are ingenious, you are able to understand certain things, right? So they show you here. They understand they understand why you need a saucer, and they're able to use the saucer to achieve their aim, which is to drink their beverage quickly and not have their tongue burning or scalded. As such, we would use the word clever here to show that they are able to apply things very quickly. Okay. Lastly, we have 20, skillfully. That means you can complete a particular activity very well. So looking at our options, the first word we have is briskly. That means someone is very active, very quick to do something. Adeptly means that you have the natural ability to do something. Naturally means that you exist as part of nature, while persistently means something is done repeatedly for a long time. Okay, so we are looking at how this person has a lot of skill, so he knows what he's doing. So the closest option they will have is number 2, adeptly. So this shows that he has done this the frying of the char kway teow for a very long time, such that it becomes like second nature to him, so he can do it naturally in a sense. All right, I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information before we continue on to our next section. If you have any all right, like that. All right. If there are no further questions, then we'll move on to the next part. All right. So let's take a look at our grammar close now. Okay. The vital role of Sherpas have played in Nepal's mountaineering industry has made the term Sherpas synonymous with expedition guides. Synonymous means that the name it brings about the same meaning. Even though not all Sherpa guides are ethnic Sherpas. Sherpas are a Nepalese ethnic group renowned their rich culture, superior climbing skills, and extreme endurance for high altitudes. So you can see these are characteristics of a particular group of people. So this forms an elaboration for the front part. So we use the word for, okay, for their rich culture, blah blah blah. Sherpas live in the high mountains of the Himalayas for generations, serve as guides and porters to mountaineers who climb Mount Everest. So over here, we are looking at how this group of people, the Sherpas with an S, okay, plural, and how we are looking at how something the activity has been done from the past to now. So we'll use the word having lived. Okay. Why is it not have? Like number F? Because there's a comma here. If we say Sherpas have lived for the mountains for a long time and serve as the porters and guides, yes, it makes sense. But if there's a comma there, then the structure of the sentence will not make sense really. Sherpas migrated eastern Tibet to Nepal around 500 years ago. So we can see this is a source, and they are in this current place now. So we'll use the word from to highlight the source of the Sherpas. Before the 20th century, Sherpas did not climb mountains. They eked out their livelihood through high altitude farming, cattle raising, wool spinning, and weaving. It was not the 1920s that Sherpas became involved in climbing. So 1920s show you a particular time period where the Sherpas ventured into something else. So we are looking from 1920 till present age. This time period only. So we will use the term until to show this uh, focus in the time period. Okay, mountaineers who have planned climbing expeditions hired Sherpas as porters. From that point on, due to their willingness to work and the ability to climb the world's tallest peaks, mountaineering became part of the Sherpa culture. The influx of mountaineers into the Sherpa homeland has dramatically transformed Sherpa culture and the way they life. So we want to talk about how people live. The term is always way of life or way of living. Okay, hundreds of mountaineers head up the mountain with Sherpa guides, mostly young men. Sherpa guides are not the muscles. They carry 35 kg of gear, setting up camps, cooking meals, and fixing the ropes and ladders. They are also expert navigators. So you can see that there is a synthesis and transformation kind of thing here. Not dash are also. So we are trying to say that Sherpas conduct a lot of activities for people. They are very skilled in different things. So we will say they are not just. So it is many similar activities. Okay. They are also expert navigators. Dash their vast experience and support. Climbers will not dash a chance of reaching the peak. So we can tell that this, if not for all this, the climbers will not. So you can see here it's a negative connotation. So we will need to have a negative connotation at the start also, because the whole sentence needs to make sense. Our frog friend says from their vast experiences and support. Read closely. If you put from here, from their vast experience and support, most climbers will not. If you use from, that means it needs to be a positive connotation. So climbers will, but over here is will not. So it doesn't make sense. So it should be without their vast experience and support, climbers will not stand a chance to reaching the peak. So we are saying that the climbers themselves are so reliant on the Sherpas. So we'll use the word even to actually emphasize this fact that they are very dependent on them. All right. Sherpa guides are an absolute necessity for dash climbing expedition. So you can see the climbing expedition. So if you want to reach the peak, you will need them. So we are saying that no matter what type, which means you want all climbing expeditions to have Sherpas. So we'll use the term any successful expedition. All right. What Sherpa guides do dash commendable. They put in immense hard work and dedication at their risk of their own lives to encourage and help climbers so that they can submit the world's highest peak. So you observe here, so they put in hard work and risk. So everything here is in the present tense. And we are looking at the activity Sherpa's guide do. So we will say is present tense and singular. They help the people climb the mountains. So we will use for our subject verb agreement rule, we will use is. All right. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information here before we move on to our next section. Okay. Okay, no further questions. Let's take a look at our editing. Mr. Ang's desire to help the less fortunate stems from his childhood. How do we do something that would be beneficial to society? So the first word is a spelling error. This was what I had always wanted to do when I was young, he said. When Mr. Ang started working at the soup restaurant group, he thought about dash to make philanthropic efforts one of his priorities. Okay, let me tackle this word first. This is how you spell priorities. Now, because you want to make these efforts a priority, you need to have some strategy, some method. As such, you'll say how to make the philanthropic efforts the priority. Philanthropy is like the act of giving large amount of money to your charity. Okay, a memorable visit to the voluntary welfare organization, spelling error again, convinced Mr. Ang that his company could leverage his strengths to provide nutritious subsidized meals. Okay, so let's spell nutritious properly. Mr. Ang knew the project had to be sustainable and not only about giving away free food. The initiative, another spelling error, was not only about providing meals but also jobs. As such, Mr. Ang explored the possibility of tapping on inmates in prison. The other people who are stigmatized when they are in community. Employing them is a good chance for them to learn a skill while serving their sentence. Within a few months, Samsui Kitchen at Changi was ready. Okay, there is no error here. Just I think they changed it by accident. Ready for operation. 30 inmates were trained in food hygiene. Sorry, spell hygiene and preparation. They were equipped. It tells me this is the previous sentence tells me this is in past tense. Therefore, we will need to be equipped with an ed and with skills. And okay, knowing here is a verb, but what we want is you want that to have the noun. It's like the something that it can be is tangible, or it can be like put in a book and things like that. So we'll say the knowledge. Okay, we should also prepare them for the work form dash their release. So we are looking at their release, and this is a particular time period. It's a day or date where these people will leave the prison. So you're talking about from the day they leave the prison onwards, they are able to be prepared for the workforce. So to show this time period, we will say after their release. Or do you want to say upon their release also can? Because upon their release tells me from that time they walk out of Changi prison, they will need to know how to survive in society. All right. So that will be our answer. Are there any questions regarding the editing? If not, let's move on to our comprehension close. The Clean Tables campaign was launched by NEA in February 2021. It is envisioned that the campaign will dash together individuals and the community to do their part in keeping our environment clean. So you are looking at individuals and the community coming together to do something. All right. So the word will be you will bring together people. Because of these two groups of people, okay, dash a national culture to keep Singapore clean. So when you want to have this national culture, there needs to be a verb, an action in order to start this. So we could say to therefore fostering, creating, building, starting. All right. This was yet another concerted dash to remind diners at hawker centres and other public dining places to keep tables clean. So you can see this is part of some campaign. So it is some kind of, you could say, an effort, a strategy, a campaign. You can even just use the same word again. So these words are actually nouns. They are like the a word to classify all these uh, cleanliness campaigns and projects together. Okay. Uh, to keep their tables clean by returning their trays or of used crockery to a tray return point, and by dash used tissues, wet wipes, and leftovers into the proper receptacles provided. Now you can see that all these are things that you want to throw away. Okay, so we'll say by throwing, discarding. Or you can say placing used tissue, etc., into the proper receptacles. Okay. We have had many campaigns since the 1960s to keep our country, water supplies, and hands clean. Dash they be effective? So over here, we are trying to ask ourselves a particular question. We highlighted that there are many campaigns, so the expectation is that we are very successful in keeping our place clean. But you see, we are asking a question, which means that there is some kind of doubt. So we'll say, but have they been effective? Singapore is a clean city, not a clean city. We are dash on cleaners to keep our city dash and spend. Okay, first thing, this is a phrase to say that this place is very clean. So we will need to uh, use the words together, which is speak and spend. Next, when we talk about cleaners here, it shows that we need their help in order to achieve the clean city, or rather this cleaned city. So we will say that we are dependent, we are reliant on the cleaners. Okay, the same is true for our public dining tables. They are cleaned by workers. Many of dash are seniors. We are referring to the cleaners and how many of them. Okay, because it's a particular group of people that we are pointing towards. Why do we in Singapore have such an entitled dash? Many of them, many of whom also can. Okay, why do we in Singapore have such an entitled dash? So this is the kind of thinking that we have, that someone will clean up after us. So we will say this is a kind of attitude, a kind of mindset also can, or you can say it's a mentality. It's basically how you think. Why do we need someone to clean up dash us? So you can see that this cleaning up is an activity that is done when we move off from a place. So there is a time sequence here. So your clean up is always after us. Okay. NEA survey found that close to half of the respondents felt cleaning their own tables after eating will dash cleaners of their jobs. So that means you are saying that when you clear your own tables, the cleaners don't need to do their job. So this would mean that it would prevent them from doing their job, right? So you'll say you will deprive them of their job or deny them of their job. This is not true. Cleaners will not lose their jobs, just dash diners have become more responsible. Just, we'll say this is a fact, and rather this is a reason, and they're saying that cleaners will not lose their job because, or rather, when they present this reason to you. So we'll use the word because. Okay. They are still needed to dash the general cleanliness of dining places. So when we talk about general cleanliness, you need to put in some effort to keep a certain standard. So we'll say that you need to maintain. You also can say you need to upkeep or ensure the general cleanliness. Okay. Including sorting used crockery at the designated tray return points. In dash, keeping tables clean after meals will make their job easier. So they're trying to tell you this particular uh, result. So we'll say in fact, or I can say in reality, and because we make their work easier, this means that their workload would be reduced. Or you can say lightening their workload. Okay? Or you can say lessening their workload. Okay, I'll just leave this here for a while, and if you have any questions, do feel free to ask me. Okay, if there are no further questions, let's take a look at our next section, which is synthesis and transformation. Now, Fred asked mother how she turned on the dishwasher. So in this question, we are looking at changing uh, the reporter speech into a direct speech. So it will be, how do you turn on the dishwasher? Fred asked mother. Okay. Li Xin missed out on several interesting activities in school. Li Xin was frequently absent. So this is the cause. When he was absent, he will miss out on several activities in school. So the first sentence will be the effect. So it will be Li Xin's frequent absence caused him to miss out on several interesting activities in school. Okay. Now, looking at question 68. The sales assistant persuaded mother to buy the steam oven. Mother eventually agreed to buy it. So we are looking at persuaded, which is a verb, to a noun, or rather, is more of an adjective here. We're describing the sales assistant as very persuasive. All right. That mother eventually agreed to buy the steam oven. All right. Now let's look at question 69. I did not know she liked the notebook. I would have given it to her. So it will be, had I known that she liked the notebook, I would have given it to her. All right. So this action, had, you need to change it to known. So these two will form my past perfect tense, which is basically one action occurred before the second action, which is would have given, would take place. Okay. Lastly, I eagerly tore open the packaging to unveil the surprise inside when I received the parcel. So receive is a verb. You need to change it to a noun. So it will be upon the receipt of the parcel, I eagerly tore open the packaging to unveil the surprise inside. Okay. I'll just give everyone some time to take in the information I've shared. And if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the comment section. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on TikTok this afternoon. I'm teacher Nathan from Writers at Work. And if you would like to take a look at our TikTok live programs for the rest of the week, do feel free to check out the link in bio. And if you'd like to join me for my regular TikTok live lessons, it will be on Sundays from 3 p.m. onwards. Okay? Till then, I'll see you around. Bye bye.